Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Interesting Modelling Company Sunday service. Goodness me, we've got a full house tonight. Excellent stuff. How are we, chaps?
Yeah, all right. All right. Interesting if I'm still on strike tomorrow or not, but other than that.
You personally or your union?
No, well, I'm part of the union, so we're on strike. We're on strike.
You don't get me. I'm part of the union. So
You're right.
Ian, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm all right. I started my new job this week and it went quite well. Thank you very much. And then I found out that I had my first weekend off the weekend because I do every other weekend, and it fell this week, and so I'm off tomorrow as well, which is quite nice, unexpected. So,
very nice. Christoph, how are we?
Very good. We're this is in the U.S. It's Thanksgiving week, which is on Thursday, thanks to Abraham Lincoln picking that date out. And it's my daughter has the entire week off. It's like the holiday just seems to be expanding. So if you got a holiday on Thursday, then Friday is kind of a wash. So that's out of the question. And then people have been gradually expanding the holiday out. So pretty soon we'll just take the third week or the fourth week of November and just go from there through Christmas and not work.
I think that sounds like a noble objective to me.
Yeah,
But of course, we Americans will still make fun of Europeans for taking August off, but it doesn't matter. Same hypocrisy is our middle name here.
Did we take August off, Drew?
No, it used to. You used to be part of there used to be a 2-week shutdown in July or August, didn't there? For most. Back when we had a major manufacturing base, I should say. There was sort of a 2-week shutdown generally in July or August to coincide with the kids' holiday as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of went by the by. I think largely by the early 80s that had more or less gone, and people get to pick.
No, I disagree with you. My dad was working in manufacturing, in a lot of manufacturing. They still the first 2 weeks in August, and the Europeans are still doing it. Fiat, I worked in a car dealership with Fiat, so they shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Europeans is they just do it anyway, and they still get their annual leave entitlement on top.
Yeah,
we have a troublemaker here tonight. We're only a couple of minutes into the show, and we've got a troublemaker. Her name is Anne-Marie Ryle Gould, and she says, "I've got homemade chocolate shortbread."
There's no need for it, is there?
No. Sorry,
there's no need for it.
No, it's really, come on.
I'll be seeing her in a couple of weeks at a club meeting, so I shall give her an appropriate chastisement.
Having said that, I have just finished off cooking a very large gammon joint, which will be, I will be testing it for sandwiches shortly after the show.
We're talking about meat here, are we?
Eh?
We're talking about meat, aren't we?
We are.
All right. Okay. Just checking. Just checking. That's right. Just checking. Right.
No, I normally roast gammon joints online.
You do. I was
just roast gammon online, really, don't you, mate?
You do. Yeah, absolutely. Chris, right? Shall we? Who wants to go projects first? Chris, do you want to go?
I can go projects first. I'll do it first.
Okay.
I foisted pictures on Jonathan very late in the game here, so you may not see him, but I can tell you what I've been up to. I think the first couple days.
Is that one of those Tamiya cats?
Yes, this is a new Tamiya cat. This is 1/1 scale. This is I did a couple of figures just because I wanted to. They go with my Spitfire very nicely. These are from CMK. They're doing 3D printed stuff now, and it looks pretty nice. So this is the called. I think it's Tempest Pilot with a mechanic and a accumulator trolley. I haven't built the trolley yet. There's a mechanic in his khaki overalls. They're very nicely done. The proportions are good, and they have a nice dog. You can't lose with the dog. Dogs are perfect for any kind of dioramas. I swear to God, I've told people this. I've won at the U.S. Nationals twice in dioramas, and both aircraft dioramas have had dogs in them. So I think that's the secret right there. Put a dog in your diorama. So those are nice. Those are nice figures. And then on Wednesday, we're doing this Battle of Midway project, and one of the modelers, Riley Kitchen, who's a fairly new modeler to aircraft, I think, but does great work already, said, "Hey, I'd like to try the TBD Devastator. You have to have a TBD if you're doing a Midway display." And I said, "Let me poke around and see what I can find. I've got all the TB kits that are in the scale. Let me see if I can find what's the best one for you." So I started poking around, and the AZ one, the Admiral one, is really brutal fit wise. The Valum one is completely shaped. It's got the wrong leading edge shape. It's got the nose, the prototype nose, so it's wrong. It's over scale. There's if you get
the wing shape wrong on the Devastator at all, you're pretty much knackered, aren't you? Because because of the corrugations, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, and so what do I happen to have in the Valum box, weirdly enough, is an Airfix Devastator. So I said to myself, I'm not going to make Riley, a fairly new modeler, suffer through the pain of trying to bring this thing back to health. And I've been thinking about doing a Devastator for like 15 years. So I said, here, I'm going to send you the Sword TBF-1. Do that torpedo plane. I'll do this one, and I'll bite the bullet. And so that's where we are right now. It's got a white ensign interior with the Valum resin parts chopped apart and put inside. I'm going to take the best parts from all these different kits and make one halfway decent Devastator. This kit is about as old as I am, so it's got a pretty bad case of rivet rash. But the rivets are fairly prototypical. If I can sand them back and make them restrained, it'll look like the real thing. Because the real thing from the nose back was just a whole collection of tiny rivets and these kind of oiled canned square patches of metal. It's just sheet metal. It's like a car. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm going to crank that sucker out and see what happens.
We're long overdue for a new 72nd scale Devastator, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's overlooked, but actually very important. And I built the Hobby Boss one in 48 about a year and a half ago, whatever. Loved every minute of it. What a lovely little model that is. They it's like one of those things where Hobby Boss get their act together and knock it out the park, sort of thing.
So I remember even someone saying that they thought that was basically a tidy up of the old Monogram one.
No, I don't think so.
No, it isn't. It can't be.
No,
that was a bad.
Well, my lament is that we've got a brand new state of the art P66, a P43, or all these weird pre-war things that didn't do anything.
BW21, whatever
like export versions of the Hawk 81. This one actually saw some important action and was a kind of a milestone airplane. In fact, the one I'm going to build is. I interviewed a guy who was a survivor of Midway. He was the only rear seat survivor of Torpedo 3 in T3, Lloyd Childers. And the bureau number of his aircraft was 0303, which means it was the 303rd aircraft in U.S. Navy history, period. It was the 303rd airplane purchased by the, kind of important, kind of early. And the fate of the TBDs and TBD Devastators at Midway is kind of foretold by the low bureau numbers.
But it is one that definitely needs somebody needs to visit it in 72nd scale without a shadow of a doubt. And
I'm sure as soon as I finish this, somebody will.
Talking of Midway, I do remember as a kid watching the is it Charlton Heston film Midway, when Chuck crashes his aeroplane on the deck and it changes from a Devastator to an Avenger to something else. There's about 3 different aircraft involved.
I think there's a Panther at one point.
Yes, there is.
Panther,
and, even as a kid, I remember sat there watching it, thinking to myself, that doesn't seem right.
The only reason they didn't get the Cutlass in was that they couldn't shoehorn the Cutlass footage in there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Drew, what are you working on?
I
know what you're working on, but go on. Hey,
the Tamiya Tomcat, the 72nd one, is kind of rapidly approaching the point where we can start putting some paint on it. Part 1 of the video is now edited, but it won't be going live until the model is finished. as is my want these days. But yeah, it is. I mean, all this comes apart. It's put together for this, really. That's
just rude.
Sorry,
I'd say that's just rude.
Yeah, so it's just this is how it's looking at the moment. So it means I can start. I'll get the wheelbase mashed off in the next day or so, and then we can start actually painting it and then dealing with all the details. Yeah, it's there's barely. I'm trying to think of where I've used filler on it. There's been a little bit of filler on the trailing edge of the wing here, where there's a join halfway down the flat line, and some Mr. Surfacer was run in along a couple of the other joins, but really, that's it. It's the thing is, it's better executed than the 48 scale one, but it has the same fit. So the thing with that is when something has the same fit in a smaller scale, it looks like, well, does that make sense?
It looks like what? Sorry, you broke up there.
When something has the same fit in 72nd as the 48 scale one, it doesn't feel like it fits quite as well.
I'm with you, yeah,
because it's smaller, but it really isn't. I mean, there's barely any filler being used on this. There's a little bit at the front on the windscreen here when the windscreen went in place, but it's really just Mr. Surfacer for the most part. So yeah, absolutely glorious model. So
you had fun at Telford, didn't you? You were just grinning like a Cheshire cat. You really were.
Well, it's a Tomcat and it's Tamiya, isn't it? So you got stuff
there
like, you know, they've really nailed things like the like you got the donut panel there for the F110 engine, which is in its own color, which will be that kind of carbon composite color, and then a separate jet pipe that goes in there, and then the whole lot just pops in place like that.
Beautiful.
So
it's got one set of nozzles open and one closed.
No, it's got only open nozzles. Included in the kit. But the thing is, Chris, you know, you'll struggle to find a picture of the F110 engine Tomcats with a closed nozzle on the ground anyway, and they didn't bleed the same way as the TF30 engine ones.
Well, there you go.
So you didn't get that one open and one closed thing like you did with the TF30 engines. Because there was some changes to the hydraulic system and the way it bled off.
Yep.
So it's, you know, like with an F16 on the ground with F110 engines, on the ground it's open. The nozzle is fully open. That's its at rest position, if you like. So whilst I might have liked the option, let's go back to me. There you go. Whilst I might have liked the option, it's one of those things that really doesn't make much difference. It's like people complaining that it doesn't have slats and flaps that you can drop on it. I suspect that'll be along in due course, but you generally just don't find Tomcats on the ground with the wings forward. Mm-hmm. You know, part of the shutdown procedure was to sweep the wings back, either fully swept or into oversweep for storage, and that's how they look. That's a Tomcat on the ground is invariably completely cleaned up and very slick. Again, and I suspect there'll be one if they repeat what they did with the 48th one. It will be that there'll be one along with slats and flaps at some point anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I had a really good look in the box while you were away from the table at SMW. I was talking to Jonathan. I couldn't get over the fit of the nose piece to the fuselage.
Yeah.
That was Drew's favourite aspect of the 48 scale kit. It was constantly disassembling it and reassembling it.
There's no filler on that. That's just been added. And
it was absolutely stunning. But, you know.
I will say that there's a slight step on the underside here where this belly plate goes in. But if I were to build this kit again, I would leave that belly plate off until the main fuselage is in, and then I would finagle that into place. So I think that's just as much due to the way I assembled it.
Yeah.
As it is, you know, it's not an inherent fault with the kit. It would be very easily But I mean, I say there's a very slight step there, but
Drew, question. What I noticed you've got areas of kind of like grey there. Is that you just priming seam lines?
Yeah, just priming seam lines just to check for fit.
Right.
And stuff like, this entire rear is separate, and if there wasn't paint on that and I showed you that, you would not know that that was a separate part.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And when I dropped the very rear of the beaver tail in to glue it, when I turned it, I tacked it in on the underside. When I turned it over to glue the top side, I actually had to stop and pause and try and work out where the join was.
Wow.
It was just so completely perfect that I had to stop and check and go back and look at the instructions to find out where the join was. So that's the kind of fit we're looking at. The only issues of any sort were these panels that go in next to the jet pipe. They were not a perfect fit, but they were a level fit. So it was literally it was a dab of super glue and a little bit of trimming was it.
I was just going to say, of course, because this kit turned up at Telford just the day before Telford. So we haven't had a chance to really talk about it on the show yet. So, like I say, at Telford, Drew was moderately happy, I think is the best way of putting it. But we were looking at the kit and we were both saying you can see where Tamiya are going to squeeze other variants out of this.
Well, I mean, the thing with Tamiya is you can see where they're going to do it.
Yeah, F16.
I would much rather say you could see where they've left the option to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the interior, the canopy has got all the canopy locks and stuff on the interior, so that was masked itself and sprayed. And that'll get some dry brushing and stuff, but that all just drops into place. So that'll drop into place for painting.
Wow.
So yeah, it's all pretty next level stuff. I really must get one of the Academy ones out. I've got about 10 of them and build one just to compare. Because the Academy one is very similar to the 48 scale Tamiya one in breakdown. So I might get one of those out. I know Spencer built it and loved it. So we will see. I mean, Mike says they did all three in 148, so why not in 72nd? Yeah, I quite agree, Mike. But it's Tamiya. I just wouldn't. That they are a law completely unto themselves. They have broken this down further than the 48th one, in that the entire tail section is separate now, which would allow them to do an early boat tail if they wanted to. One of the early VF1, VF2 aircraft from 1975 and frequent wind and stuff like that. So the options are there, but until the kit is in my hand with Tamiya, I never count any chickens.
They've got form over the years for issuing kits with clear breakdown for things. The Heinkel 219, that 48 scale Heinkel 219 they did, there's breakdown in that to enable you to do about, I worked it out with someone about 7 or 8 different versions of it. I think we got 2.
No, we got 1.
We only got 1.
Yeah.
Right, they just changed the box at some point. Well,
we got the A0, I think.
Yeah, and they
so the major 2 were the A0 and the A7. And I think we got the A0, but never even got the A7.
No. And it's
broken down so you could do the later the D27 and later with the filleted tail, and it's even got spaces for the anti-compressibility flaps, and that kit never appeared ever. Period. So just happens.
We've thought we've 4 or 5 years down the line from this 48 scale F4B. They haven't even done an F4C yet. No. You would think an F4C would be a logical sort of next step, and nothing.
I think so. The F16, we're waiting for a 2-seater, aren't we?
In all scales, yes. I mean, by all accounts, Tamiya have tooled the 48 scale twin seat parts. They are tooled. They just never released it. So it's
one of the Japanese mags did some coverage around that at some point. They said, and they had effectively a test shot or similar of it, and it just never appeared. So
Ian, you have been a busy boy, haven't you? And you've been building some ICM cars, haven't you?
Well, as I was attempting to leave SMW, I spoke to Mr. Farmer, and he said, "Ian, do you fancy building a taxi?" Yeah, I'll build a taxi, says I. And he handed me a kit, which I didn't actually take a great deal of attention to until I got back to the hotel that night and went, hang on a minute. And it's a 1/35th scale ICM 1910 Renault taxi, London taxi. And I've finished it already because I've had a bit of time off because of the change of job thing in the post Telford period. And I finished it. See, look, it's tiny though. Absolutely tiny. One of the smallest things I've built in a long time. And I've had immense fun. It's a lovely little thing. It took a little bit of planning and some appropriately strong language at times, mainly of my own doing. But there you go. That is a 1/35th scale 1910 London taxi. It's a lovely little thing. It's been great fun. Probably the best fun I've had in a while because I think I didn't build it with an expectation. You know what I mean? Of it being my cars, one of my models, and I've loved it. I've really enjoyed it. I've managed to get some glue on the inside of one of the door glasses, but of PVA style, which I can't shift. But yeah, there's lots of pictures of these on the internet, and it would appear that no two are the damn same. That was good fun.
That is pure. My late Uncle Roger, those were the kind of cars that he used to build. And as a kid, I would always be fascinated by them. And I'm going to have a word with Mr. Farmer and see if I can bag myself an ICM vintage car because they are.
Apparently, they do this in 24 scale, John.
Okay.
Which is why, and I never thought of it. But they do. There is there was a bit of warpage on this. The fenders and the side steps are one piece, and there's a lovely bit of you can just about make that one out. The other side's worse, actually. Let me turn it around, which would be typical because that's the one the spare wheel mount and everything fixes to. You can just see there that bow. It took a little bit of heat, and I've got most of it out of it. But there's some very, very small bits in this. Very, very small bits.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an ICM kit if there weren't very, very small bits. It's a bit like mini art in that regard.
The for hire part of the meter is actually a scratch built replacement with one of the remaining decal on it, because as I was decaling the original, putting the first one on, there was the appropriate ping. I'll find that in a decade or two. It was last seen going at high speed over my right ear, so I've no idea where it went to. But there you go. Genuinely, if someone said to me, "You fancy building another one of them?" we'd be like, "Yeah, I would." Really good fun. It's a pain in the bum to photograph because, of course, it's gloss black and dark green, so it doesn't photograph particularly well. There's a bit of orange peel in various places, but that was mainly because it's built from the box for Mr. Farmer. Hopefully he will like that. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to get it to him. That's the other issue.
That needs a tiny little plexiglass display case, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to pop up to Visual Impact. Go up to town. Yeah, I'm going to pop up to see Visual Impact at some point in the next couple of weeks, and I'll probably put something to get something for that.
I mean, just for safety, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna. It won't survive a more or less than zealous handling. Let's just say that. It's There's some great little details. There's a full engine under the hood, but you can't. Yeah, that's the French version, which is the slightly later one with the cowl over the.
Yeah, they do the French de la Marne 1914 version. Then they do the Battle of the Marne 1914 taxi car with French infantry, and then your one, Type AG 1910 London taxi. So,
I mean, they're all the basic. The one thing that the other two have got is that cowl over the.
Over the driver's cab.
But we were British, so our drivers were sturdy gents. Didn't need that.
Well, it's a good thing it never rains in England. So,
heaven forbid
it's all
rain in
all a
England.
vicious rumor, Chris. It's all a vicious rumor.
Yeah. Right. The meat and potatoes tonight. We've got a schedule to blitz through this evening, but we also have a bit of news. And well, as you would seen at Telford, one of the big news items was the Airfix 109G in 24th scale. We've got one. Rather splendid box art there of 109 in the Met with some B-17s and some, you may notice, some Mediterranean Spitfires in blue. Let's open the box, shall we? As you can see, it's a girt big box as well. Now, I will start this off with a caveat is I didn't work on this one. I know you're all probably thinking to yourself, goodness me, how do Airfix manage to get work done without you? Well, they can. There we go. So so here we go. A box of delights. It really, really is. So let's do this. It's interesting to see how this is broken down because clearly I would imagine it has been designed with other variants in mind. It would be remiss not to, quite frankly. So here we have lower wing, we've got control surfaces, we've got parts of the wheel bay, we've got a nice big spar there. I will zooms in. In fact, we will zoom in quite a bit, and you can see the finesse of the surface detail there with some very nice riveting going on, and panel lines are beautifully restrained. So let's have a look. Oops, Daisy, it zooms out. So we have that sprue there, which is one wing. That sprue there, which is the other wing, and also the center section of the belly as well. More wheel well gubbins there, bits of the radiator. You got bits of the flaps and control surfaces. And then we have grabs bits out of box. Ups to Daisy, we've got bits stuck together here. Then we've got the upper surface of the wings. Again, you'll notice everything is broken down modularly. So and we'll zoom in again. Ups to Daisy, zooms in. Again, oops, there is some very, very fine recessed rivet detail going on there, and with you can see the upper part of the wheel well showing through onto the wing as well. And there we go, there's the interior of it. This is also a nice hard plastic, so it's not that kind of soft, soapy kind of stuff. Then we have zooms out. I need to set this camera up properly. Then we've got wheels within wheels in a spiral array. We've got undercarriage doors there. We've got different styles of main wheels there. We've got different hub arrangements, tail wheel. We've got, just having a look. Oh, that's undercarriage legs for it being retracted and in place. Spinner, multi-part spinner, which we'll come to in the instructions. The blades have got a very nice kind of washout to them. Drop tank with fairing. Then
they clearly heard of the idea of doing a simple spinner and wanted no truck with the idea.
I think it's to do with the shape. But there we have, again, the way this is all broken down. So we've got cockpit parts there, and we've got sections of the nose. And the nose on this you can pose open to show off the engine. So that's why you've got different nose panels there, engine covers rather. We've got a runner here, which appears to be bits for wings, and it looks to be flap actuators.
Tail wheel bay bulkhead on that.
Yep, tail wheel bay bulkhead. Part of the armor for the cockpit. We've got the oil cooler, bits of the cockpit there. Then we have the engine, and with the bearers and everything, and separate exhaust pipes there. The cradle for the drop tank. Oh no, sorry, this is the cradle for the gun. So that's for the external guns.
That's a podded plate, isn't it, Drew? That
you what? Sorry,
it's a 20mm, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's the podded 20mm.
Yeah. More bits for the engine there, and wiring and piping. Upsa daisy, rudder, and more bits for the cockpit. And we've got another variation on the instrument panel there. And if you look at the instrument panel, it's molded flat with the bezels are molded flat, so that you can drop decals in there. Fuselage halves, which the eagle-eyed amongst you will again notice this is on a separate runner, and they've broken the top of the fin rudder down. So in theory, there's no reason why you can't wring more variants out of that. And finally, we've got more control surfaces and more bits of the nose, cockpit floor. Right. And a set of canopy masts. So we've got the standard canopy mast there, and we've got the one for the Erle Haub hood, of which I haven't opened this up yet. I will do, because I don't like opening up. Well, these are super sharp scissors, aren't they, boys and girls? There we go.
I went through and sharpened all my scissors last month, and now they're all amazing.
Yeah, I've got one of those sharpening tools here. So we've got the Erle Haub hood. We've got different variations on the windscreens. We've got two versions of the standard hood as well. Armored sections. I need to go through the instructions. We've got separate armored plating there as well. But very, very nicely clear as well for the scale. And let's just get these parts in the box. Oh, come on, man. Oh, I don't want to do it. Yeah, I know. And then we have instructions, which is, oops, daisy. Tell you what, let's get these parts in the box, shall we?
Pull your camera back a bit, John, will you?
Yep. There we go. And then we've got instruction sheet. We've got another set of canopy masts in there. Lucky old me. And there are quite a lot of steps in this, so you are not going to be hurrying your build of this, and this is all very, very nicely done. So yes, there we go. Instrument panel. I mean, this is next level, really, isn't it?
A really nice set of instructions.
Yeah. Wings.
Well, to be honest, all their recent instruction sheets have been really good. Since they started putting in the little bits of colour to indicate what you did last step and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's a bit better. They're absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. There we go. And here we go for the spinner. So there is building this multi-part spinner, which I think is to do with getting I think there's something about the shape of it. that it needed to be done that way. I will ask Matt, because Matt was primarily the chief researcher on this. So, but I'll ask him about that. There's your masks for your canopy, and finally,
are the masks sold separately then, or are they in the box?
No, there was one in the kit. So I don't know whether that was included for my benefit or whether they are sold separate. Whether they are sold separately. There was one in the kit. Let's put it that way. And that box was sealed. So, and then we have your schemes. There are 5 schemes in the kit. So the A scheme is yellow 14. Which was based in the Mediterranean, in Sicily. And then we have the B scheme with this rather attractive war prize painted up in American.
The word attractive is doing some heavy lifting there. That's awful.
No, I like it. That would be the one I'd build.
Ferocious.
That's the one I would build. Hush,
never lose it in a car.
Then we have VX 101, which was one of the ones flown by Farnborough.
Classic.
And then we have White 10, which was based in France. And then our final scheme is Yellow 11. I don't think that would be one I want to paint, because that just looks to be massively kind of involved, doesn't it?
So sorry, I didn't see. Do any of these options have the Earl of Hawke canopy?
Yeah.
I think that one. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, D.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we have 2 pages of stenciling. There we go. And then we have the decal sheet, cartograph printed, and yeah, very, very, very thorough.
Huh. The red surrounds on the stars concern me, because I know that there's a lot of confusion around orthochromatic film and the yellow surrounds. When was that airplane captured? Does the instructions say?
I will have a look. I'm sure I came across a colour photograph of it the other day, but it's saying summer 1943.
Okay. All right. Well, give them the benefit of the doubt. I actually had to talk a Warbird owner out of painting his A36's roundels or stars with a red surround based on a black and white picture he saw. So I'm very sensitive to that.
I think the thing to look at on the black and white picture is whether the yellow areas and the red areas have the same tonal values in the actual image. So the one observation I will make, it's an observation, not a criticism, is that on the VX 101. I've noticed that in photographs of other captured 109Gs, it's a standard B-type roundel. This one appears almost like an RAFD type roundel. So I'd need to see a photograph just to make sure that is absolutely correct. Like I say, that's an observation. It's not a criticism. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The new Airfix 24 scale 109G. I'm just going to read what the variants are. It's a 109 G5/G6.
Thank you, Travis, for that. He says, Travis in the comments said that the Army Air Force did paint red on other captured planes in Sicily. So that's good to know. I didn't know that.
There you go.
There we go. Richard Graham 4512 says the masking sheet sold separately is expanded to include internal canopy masks. Right. So there is a standard stencil sheet, masking sheet in the kit, and the aftermarket one that Airfix do has extra masks to mask the interior. Thank you for that, Richard.
That's a good idea.
And Peter Oxley says, just be careful to use those masks quickly. Apply and spray as soon as possible. Yep. But there we go.
Are they vinyl or kabuki?
They are
tape, I think.
Kabuki.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, kabuki tape.
Good. Just checking. Good.
Few people reported seeing them peeling on one of the examples at SMW, or lifting. I think Peter was one of the people that said something about it online.
Mm-hmm.
Lifting off the what? The
lifting off the model. You put them on if you left them for any point in time, they lifted.
I found that with some of the vinyl ones with Dora wings. Yeah, vinyl.
It's unusual for
I use vinyl for spraying insignia and stuff because I'm cutting it, applying it, spraying and removing it. I'll use kabuki for long-term masking, but I wouldn't use vinyl for canopies or anything like that because it's useless for that.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Chris says, I heard the masks are sold separately in case you mess up the included ones. And I think there's also a mask for the internal frame on the extra sheet. But Telford was a long time ago now, and you'll need to check. It was a long time ago. Goodness me. And Peter Oxley, yeah, okay, he makes the observation, no swastikas. I think we just...
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is now.
Yeah, I'm afraid that is... We just have to...
If they want to sell into certain markets... That's the way it has to be, and sadly, that's just it's easier just to completely not include them at all than even include them on a bit of the decal sheet that gets cut off or anything like that. Just don't include them. And most modelers who know what's going on will know how to source. How to source them. That's just the way the world is now. You've just got to live with the fact that you can't even show a Finnish aircraft now from World War II.
No.
At the national insignia because it's a swastika. So,
right, shall we dive on with the news? And Ian, I do believe you have something to talk about.
That. So this is a little bit of an exclusive. Those of you who follow motorsport will know that last weekend was the Macau Grand Prix weekend, and the GT cars raced. And a gentleman by the name of Adley Fong drives an Audi R8 GT in the Macau Grand Prix. I think it has done for maybe 4 or 5 years now. And every year, his car is sponsored by a company called Tarmac Works, and they run different anime options. So 2022 and 23 were both Hello Kitty. 24 was another one that's now just disappeared out of my brain. I looked it up earlier as well, and I meant to write it down. That's the car in question, and this year's is the one that was up previously, which is Cinema Roll. There you go. That's the 2023 Hello Kitty car, and that's the 2022 Hello Kitty car. So SK Decals are locally based to the Macau race, and the only car he's doing from this year's race is the R8 in the Cinema Roll sheet. Those of you who did see any of the footage will know that the public reaction to the Cinema Roll car was enormous. There were people from China paying people to go to the circuit to buy marketing material and merchandise with that logo set on it. So this is a preview of our friend SK's decal sheet. There we go. First time it's been seen publicly. He hasn't announced it on his page yet, but I was involved in the conversation with him, and he sent me that, and I said, can we borrow that for tonight? He's like, of course you can. There you go. So world exclusive. SK Decals doing Adley Fong's R8 2025 Macau Grand Prix with the Cinema Roll livery on it, and I, for one, have already pre-ordered mine. And it goes on to, now previously you'd have had to buy one of the new R8s and then a conversion set, but because they've now issued the Evo 2 version, which is the black with day glow yellow Rossi car from Spa in 22, all the bits in it you need for a current spec R8 are in that box. So you just buy that kit, buy the decor sheet. My experience tells me you can wait for them to get into the European places. I think Spot carry it. I know our friend Steve at Hero Boy carries them, but the quickest way to get them is going to be to buy them direct, and in which case Zoom on will have it very, very quickly. As soon as he's got that printed, it'll be on their website. Obviously you pay a little bit more for shipping, so it all works out about the same price anyway. And they're just nice decals as well. I've built 4 or 5 cars now. I'll come back to that. We bought 4 or 5 cars now with his decals on, and not a single one of them has ever let me down. Yeah, unfortunately, he's doing no more Sarah Jane. That's the only car for this year's race he's doing. He's already told me that. He's not a big fan of the GT3s. It was only a 16-car field this year, and I was really disappointed actually because the Cinema Roll car only managed 2 laps. Flipping it. If you go back a few years, one of the guys that raced in the race this year actually won that race on his roof, because Macau is a street circuit around the city, and he ended up, there was a couple of laps left, and he was in a big accident, and the car skidded across the start-finish line on its roof. They red flagged the race and then counted back to the beginning of the previous lap where he was in the lead, and he won the race despite the fact that he crossed the line on his roof.
How very NASCAR of them.
Very NASCAR. So I tell you what, though, for the liveries that turn up for that race and the effort that people put into the prep and everything is off the scale. But there was a chrome silver and a chrome gold finished Porsche GT3s, both which you could probably build from the Tamiya kit with a little bit of jiggery pokery, or at least the new one, and they were both beautifully finished, beautifully. I tell you what, I'd hate to have to try and represent it in the model kit. I took one look at them and went, nope, not even going there. Forget that one. So yeah, yes, it did. The M4 was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But there you go.
Right. Next, we haven't finished with 109s, but we're gonna drop down half a size and go back in time. Dragon are doing a 48 scale 109E, and
have been for many years.
Yes. Now this apparently is imminent now. But what Dragon are bringing to the mix with this kit, didn't they do a 32nd scale one, by the way, Drew? I think they did, yes, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. 109s and 110s.
Yeah, but this is nothing to do with their 32nd scale one. So the innovation with this is the amount of slide molding, and the amount of slide molding to give you single piece items. Now, in this instance, the fuselage, I'll tell you what this is what Dragon have to say about this. One-piece fuselage, no seam lines, no sanding. The entire body is slide molded as a single part using one of the longest and most complex steel slide systems in the industry. So there is your fuselage there. Upsy-daisy, jumped one there, and that gives you an idea of how relatively simple the breakdown is. And again, they say smart internal assembly, fully detailed cockpit pod plugs directly into the fuselage, wings and tail sections slot in with perfect alignment, no filler, no fuss. And they also say includes movable rudder and elevators with snap fit engineering, easy to position, highly durable, pain-free build experience. Say goodbye to endless sanding, gap filling, and rescribing panel lines. With Wing Tech 2, this is the range they're talking about, the hardest work is already done, so you can focus on the fun. So, yeah. Single piece molding, that'll be interesting. Now the one observation I will make is that they've made the point about getting rid of seam lines, but of course with the 109E there was a dirty great big seam line down the centre of the fuselage.
On the top only.
On the top only.
Having said that, I will say that it would be easier to restore that to a complete fuselage than it would to try and restore it along a join line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
so there we have.
I'm intrigued.
I have had a word with our good friend Mr. Farmer. Sadly, you know what I'm going to say, Drew, no job in the fire escape trade yet, but I have expressed an interest in us getting hold of one of these for the show, but for the channel as well, for the feed, because
I'm intrigued enough to want to see it.
Yes, I am as well.
And I would like to, and I would like to put their claims about filler and such to the test.
Remember they say it says less no filler, so we'll be the judge of that, Sonny.
Exactly that, Ian. Exactly that. But it's an easy assembly and it requires no filler. Yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much.
What's interesting here is that looking at this is that they're doing the wings. There's no single piece underside to the wing, so it's all separate left and right halves, which then bolt onto
belly plate. So you got a belly plate. There's two belly plates, sir.
Yeah.
So I mean that's prototypical of the real thing.
That's the same sprue in two different colours. Look.
Yeah. But I mean that effectively means you could do a diorama with no wings like the real 109. You could remove the wings and it still sits on its undercarriage. So
I think what they've done here is they've molded it in color-ish. So you've got bits of the airframe that will be Hellblau are molded in blue. You've got
the top sprue with the cowling, the top of the cowling is molded twice as well. So interesting. But we are intrigued, and there does appear to be a seam line on the top of that fuselage. Let's have a look. Undersides. But it was on the bottom as well.
Because it's offset.
Okay. But interesting. Very, very interesting. So like I say, I have expressed an interest with Mr. Farmer to try and get one of these to share with you good people so that we can see what Dragon are up to.
There we
and
go.
That's all I have to. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, the problem is, let's be honest. When we come back to Dragon and aircraft, their track record isn't exactly brilliant.
I would say it's pretty much the direct opposite of brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, there's Sea Vixen and Sea King.
It's the anti-brilliant.
I remember that range of late war German jets and prototypes that they racked out, and how much fun I had putting the AR-234 fuselage together. Yeah, no.
You ever built that Black Widow?
Yeah. No, actually, I correct myself there. I assembled it and then I danced a jig on it and put it somewhere appropriate. Yeah.
So you're saying I should feel no compunction about stealing the spinners out of that for another project?
No, absolutely not. No,
it's a very good parts donor.
I think people refer to kits as filler queens, but yeah, that Black Widow, it would have been easier just to have got a tube of filler and carved it yourself. It was.
I've got a friend of mine who transferred most of the detail parts of it into an Airfix one and ended up with something that looked more like a Black Widow than that.
Yeah.
I built one. It actually turned out okay, but it was like their Lightning. They weren't very good with twin booms. Alignment was more of a working suggestion. Yeah, exactly, an aspiration. Just to interrupt a second, just to annoy Chris on the back of what he completed a couple of weeks ago. I did get that in the post this week.
Oh, what a show off!
Yes, I'm sure you did. How is it, Drew?
Do you know what? I haven't really had a look at it yet.
Let's have a live unboxing. Come on, man.
Should we have a little look at it then? Should we have a little look at this? So what I can say is that basically it's a common set of sprues in all the kits, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
And you have to you have to chop it around if you're doing anything other than a straight F7 F3.
Oh, okay.
So your canopies there are for every single variant basically, and there's a little set of masks there. Nice. Oh dear. It's too chunky. So is that coming out the right way on your screens?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's right side.
All right. So fuselage there. It's actually, hopefully catch it in the light. It's actually very nicely done.
What's the manufacturer? Is that Fly?
Fly. So yeah, you'd have to. So if you're doing a 1 or a 2, you've got to obviously splice in the vertical fin, but it's very well along this panel line here to cut it, and then splice in these parts. If you're doing the night fighter, you've got the separate nose here, and you're cutting along a panel line directly on the front edge of the windscreen there for it. So it's all, it does all require some cutting to do the F3N, but it's nothing too onerous, I don't think. All you're doing there is just turning it into a kit with a separate nose, aren't you?
You open up the radar observers compartment too.
So the radar observers compartment, it is marked on the inside there where you've got to remove, and as also it's marked here for the drone controller. So all this area has to be removed for that drone controller bit there. Yeah, and the surface detail is actually lovely. Very, very nicely. Very, very nicely engraved. So wings. Again, really nicely. There's no rivets, but the actual surface detail.
That plastic looks quite hard.
Yeah, it is. It's a dark grey.
Boy, it looks like they have missed the shape of the oil cooler exhaust doors on the top of the wing. Those are some pretty big items. But hey.
What though?
Those things, yeah. They're a little bit bigger than that in real life.
Right, I will check, and it's nice to know that there's stuff.
I really hate myself for knowing that, but
there's a sprue so this is all your engines and your wheels and stuff, exhausts, and things.
It's very nice.
Honestly, it does. It's and the final sprue has got your tail planes. Obviously, your engine nacelles there.
Yeah.
With each of those has got this part here that drops in on the lower surface.
I'm going to make the observation there, Drew, is that the cowlings are split in 2 halves. So how are you going to deal with the seam line on the inside?
Probably with Fusion 360.
That's not really an answer, is it?
Having said that, to be honest, you're only really removing the seam line around the very lip. The rest of it dips down inside, and unless you get yourself, unless you turn into the sort of judge that I fundamentally object to a model competition, it's never going to show anyway. So yeah, there it is. Joking aside, Chris, will you be in the market for one?
Oh yeah, I certainly will be. There's I'm
in fact, on the basis of having got this out of the box this week, I'm immediately looking at ordering. I quite fancy doing one of the very early 2s with the small tail, the pure fighter one.
Yeah, which are very attractive airplanes.
It's a beautiful airplane. I don't think they ever made an ugly one. Even the 3N like this with the big nose and stuff like that. I still think it's a very attractive airplane.
Yeah.
No, I can remember. I don't know if anybody else can remember back in, I used to read Commando comics back in the 70s and 80s. Most of us did. Do you remember them?
Mm-hmm.
You remember them, Ian? Commando comics?
Oh,
and there was one that was called Tiger Cat Island. And it was tiger cats flying in a Pacific theater by the Fleet Air Arm in early 1945. It was like my first exposure to What If was a comic, Commando magazine. So I always thought, it'd be quite nice to do a dark sea blue tiger cat with Fleet Air Arm markings in the Pacific Theatre. But I probably wouldn't spend the thick end of 40 quid to do it.
There was a tiger cat that was actually trialled by the Royal Navy.
Yeah, we did trial it, but at that point we had the Sea Hornet. So
fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, I think is telling that Winkle Brown flew the Tiger Cat and the Sea Hornet, both the night fighter variants of those aircraft, and he said the Hornet was a much nicer aeroplane, but the Tiger Cat was a much better night fighter. Yeah. So it's just a bit chunkier, isn't it? A bit more, the Sea Hornet fuselage was a little bit cramped, I would think, for a radar operator.
Yeah, sorry, I'm slightly. Theron Hampton has proclaimed Qatari just announced the 32nd scale F6F Hellcat, but I've just been on their Facebook page, can't see anything, and somebody else here has also said. Steve O London says that Theron on their website. I was on there earlier, no sign. So Theron, if you can let us know where you heard that and give us a link, that's interesting news. Right, shall we dive on? I'm sounding like Roger from American Dad here. Dive on in. Right, Copper State Models. And they're a firm favorite we talk about on this show quite a bit. And they do specialize in World War I stuff. And this is one of their latest kits. It's a Model J military motorcycle, US motorbike from the First World War. Again, this is 3D printed. Oh my goodness me, this looks absolutely sumptuous. Now, I do believe, Ian and Drew, you were chatting to Copper State at Telford, weren't you?
We were. We chatted to them for quite some time, and they were quite interested in our little corner of the internet, as it were.
They had they had grey builds of all the range on the stand. Some of them are really after the drag racing one that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. They had some really interesting bits and pieces. I think you were quite enamored by a couple of them, weren't you?
We were. I was looking to actually make a purchase, wasn't I? But the kit wasn't released yet. So,
no.
No, they were. It was a lovely stand. They were lovely folks. And they were really nice. They were really nice to chat to. Was it Lithuania they're from, or
Latvia?
Latvia.
Yeah, they had a couple of these bikes.
One of your Baltics, anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. They had a couple of these bikes on the stand in the flesh, and the detail on them is unbelievable. They're absolutely stunning. But the figure sets they do to accompany a lot of their vehicles are very nice as well. It's some really nice stuff on display, and I for one was very impressed. But there you go.
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah, it'd be nice to tie up with them a little bit.
Yeah, I will. We've got their business card, so I will ping them an email this week and say, would love to feature some, to actually do some builds on the, on the Facebook page and on the show as well. So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I think we're getting to the bottom of what we're going to call Hellcat Gate. It would appear Theron might have got his wires crossed a bit because trying trying to find where we are now. Yes.
Sorry about the noise. I'm just trying to repack this Tiger Cat.
That's fine. As Paul Messi Bench Models 2602 comments, he says, I think it was Great War Hobbies that announced a Hellcat. Qatari announced a P47 and 109E. So we're not finding anything yet about a Hellcat from Qatari. They're not, if they've announced it, they've not announced it on any of their platforms.
No, they haven't announced anything, have they?
No. So anyway, right.
Sorry, so Jen's asked a question. Jen, I presume you're talking about the scale of the motorbike. It's either 32nd or 35th.
Yes, right. This is what Copper State models say. They said the motorbike is now available to order in 32nd scale and 35th, fully 3D printed with a minimum number of highly detailed parts. Later on, we're planning to offer it in 1/24th scale and maybe even 1/16th. Stay tuned, they say.
Wow.
So
in 12th scale, so it matches all my other bikes. That'd be nice.
Yep. Yeah, here we go. For Philip Jones 3856 says Copper State models of a 1918 /9 armored car was epic. Yeah, if that's the Cyclops one, I'm putting in an order for that because I want that.
It wasn't on sale.
I know. On one of the brief sojourns that I managed to get away from the stand, and I think like most of us at the stand, most of our trips away from the stand were to go and visit the little boys' room. But yes, we'll see what we can do there, folks. Right, next, this is the first of tonight's Look Graph marathon, and these are 3D printed. Oh my goodness me! We've featured this one before, and they're doing a Grumman Goose in 32nd scale. So this is going to be.
Good Lord, there's not a single colour scheme there I wouldn't want to do.
No,
it's just glorious, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, every single aircraft there is beautiful.
And from a decal point of view, they did such a great job because so many of these airplanes are not lots of decals, but really spectacular markings, the bottler paints. So good for them. They can get a reasonable sized decal sheet with 7 fantastic options.
This ridiculous. This has my attention, and I don't build 32nd, and I've got no interest in the aircraft, but I want a 32nd scale Grumman Goose.
Mm-hmm. Here is the box art for the US Navy boxing. Then we have the box art for that one, that civvy one, the police one. Isn't that absolutely stunning piece of artwork? I'm just marveling at the.
I want to know where's King Kong.
Well,
he's way over on the island, back over there in the background.
Yes, I'm marveling at the reflections on the side of that glossy fuselage. That's a work of art, isn't it? And then we have the French one. Now, this is this boxing will have French Navy version and RAF version. Below, you'll find a clear breakdown of the included variants, included features rather, for each variant. French Navy version, cabin chairs with reinforcements, quick attachable parachutes, United States Navy Mark III life raft, Mark II signal pistol pouch, Marine distress signals, AA-52 machine guns with side door mounts, Firefighter fire extinguisher. I think that's a brand, FYTER. RAF version, US Navy Mark III life raft, smoke float number 3 Mark 1, navigation flame float Mark II, marine distress signals, R116 receivers, blister side windows, RAF OA2 compasses, cabin chairs with reinforcements, quick attachable parachutes, and firefighter extinguisher. So it looks like they've done their It looks like they've done their homework. But yeah, if we go back to those schemes, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's going to be what? It's going to be a couple £100, I would think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm not on board at the moment. I could be.
Yeah, they're doing United States Navy, French/RAF, and civilian boxings, including, by popular request, a fourth painting scheme of the Cutter's Goose, which
it was from the TV show, wasn't it? So
yeah.
What's the one bottom left?
Can't
read it. February. Because there were obviously up in Alaska and places like that, there were lots of these puddle jumping type of things floating around, and I believe a couple of them ended up there. So I have an interest.
Every schemer there I look at, I just think would look amazing.
Yeah,
that police one is just great.
Do you know what? I'm going to be controversial here, and I think the dullest looking scheme out of all of them is actually the British one.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is without doubt. And I'd still want to do it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
You realise also how a decent Grumman Goose in 72nd scale or 48 scale. I mean, goodness me, if you've got so many schemes you can hang off an aircraft, then the chances are you'll sell it to a wider market. I feel anyway. Here we go. Craig Sargent, Tales of the Gold Monkey. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think as an aircraft, it's really much bigger than a Spitfire, is it?
No, it's not that much bigger than its sibling, the Gosling, and the Gosling's tiny.
I like that. I like that a lot.
We've solved it now. Theron says, my bad, it was a P-47D Razorback. There we go. So there we go. Qatari are not doing a Hellcat.
Someone was asking about who stocks the Lookcraft kit. I believe you buy direct, don't you?
Yeah, you buy direct. Yeah.
They've got a good Facebook page which has got useful information on it.
Yep. So and we've got links on our page as well. So yeah, if you head that way. Right. Next news item. We haven't finished with Lookcraft yet, so Lookcraft rather. So next up on the schedule tonight is scrolls down. Oh, Dora Wings. Of course, it's going to be Dora Wings. Wouldn't be a show without Dora Wings, and I get the feeling this is going to interest Drew, because it's 72nd scale and it's a P-47.
I love the fact that the Thunderbolt is getting some serious attention at the moment.
Yep. B/C Thunderbolt.
Yes, please, and thank you. In fact, I just got a Tamiya 72nd Razorback in the mail today from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's not before time that the Thunderbolt's getting some serious attention, and I've got the 48 scale B and C from Dora Wings, and they are really nice models. So there's no reason why the 72nd one won't be every bit as good.
Yeah.
Explain to the boys and girls, Drew, what's the difference between the B/C and the D that we all know and love?
Well, the late on in the C production line, the fuselage got longer. So I think I'm right, Chris, in saying the very late Cs had a D-length fuselage, didn't they?
Yes.
But early Cs, all Bs and the earlier Cs had a shorter fuselage behind the cowling. And a lot of them, all the Bs and a lot of the Cs didn't have the keel either, the kind of deep belly. Which was that was for piping for the drop tank, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was.
That's all that deep that deep belly bearing was. So yeah, I mean they're the major differences: the fuselage length and that keel are the biggest external differences.
And there's some cowl flap. There's some cowl flap differences from
yeah, you're gonna have to look at your engine options and stuff like that as well. But yeah, it's really nice to see the Thunderbolt getting so much attention of recent in all scales. You know, because as we've discussed, Qatari have announced a 32nd scale D. We've got all the mini art Ds and Ns. We've got Dora wings, B's and C's. Now the 72nd scale B's and C's. Dora wings have announced that they're working on a 72nd scale P47N as well.
Nice.
Very good.
Which is yes, please, and thank you very much. So yeah, it's one of those aircraft that seems to get overlooked a little bit in terms of manufacturers of World War II, in favour of sort of Mustangs and Spitfires.
Yeah.
And I think it's
only
just
only the most produced American fighter of all time. So of course they're going to ignore the first. People have ignored the first generation of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Which is just bonkers. I love the fact this has got the big ferry tank in it because the
they've the 48 scale one's got the big ferry tank in it as well, because they had a lot of those ferry tanks had markings on them and shark marks.
Sure did. Yeah.
On them. It's and it gives it a definite airborne early warning look.
Yes, the Thunderbolt AEW. The one thing I am going to question is looking at that plan view is, I know one of the criticisms of old P47 Razorback kits is that the sides of the sliding section should be parallel, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a curvature to that, but I need to see the kit parts to see what's going on there. So again, not a criticism, an observation. But yeah, that looks absolutely terrific. And the missing link for Jug kits in 72nd scale.
And of course, they've already done the P43, which is the kind of immediate predecessor.
Yep.
So yeah, you could do a really neat range of the Thunderbolt family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I've always used to be a bit like the bubble top, so I've become a real fan of the Razorback. What are you doing, Chris?
I wore my P47.
Showing us his socks.
I've become a real fan of the.
Isn't it interesting how some of these people behave now? Drugs are legal.
Yes. Philip Jones makes a very good one. He says, very good point. He says, hey lads, what about a Facebook group build in the spring or summer for various types of the P47? I can see Chris nodding there.
Oh yeah.
I'm up for that. Yep.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yep. I think Jug June or Jug July. Juggly. There we go. That works, doesn't it? Juggly. That's very good.
Another announcement that's been made this week for us fans of World War II fighters is that Edouard have finally announced in 48 scale they will be doing P40 Fs and Ls next year.
Oh, nice.
So finally, we're going to get the Merlin engined. They've announced the K and M for sort of middle of the year. And then at the back end of the year, they're finally going to do the P40F and the P40L, which kind of looks, when you look at those aircraft, they look sort of just like a Warhawk. And then you start looking a bit closer and realize that the Merlin engine gave it a completely different set of contours around the front end, just the same layout. So that'll be that's nice to see that they are coming at last.
And some very interesting color schemes for those aircraft.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And next, we're going to have to rattle on through to the end here. But this is from a company called MMR. Apparently, they're working in conjunction with IBG, and they're doing 3D printed prototype Spitz or K5054s. Now, all we've got at the moment is some artwork that's been put up, but apparently, like I say, these are being done in conjunction with IBG and will be sold by IBG. So they're doing the prototype itself, K5054, and as I say, different iterations of it during its testing period. So that will be very interesting to see what that ends up being like. How,
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Do you know what K5053 was?
Go on.
K5053 was a Northrop Gamma bomber that was trialed by the RAF. And it was, and it's in the background of at least 2 of the shots of 5054 on at one of the air shows. Silver with the same roundel style as 5054.
So break out your Williams Brothers kit.
Well, it's the you'd want it's an E.
Oh,
it's the one that's Azure Special Hobby did.
Yeah, Special Hobby.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the boxings that they do, which I think had the China-Japan era bomber scheme in it, actually had the decals in for it. That's how I know, because at one point I had about 3 of them on the go for various conversions. So, there you go. That's my moment of anorak. Thank you.
Right, bear with, because I have just found an image of K5053. Zooms in. This is what happens when you're trying to do stuff on the fly here. But share screen. Come on, brain, you can do this. Share screen. Here we go. There we go. Northrop Gamma 5053.
Gamma E.
What a cool plane.
It was a cool looking aeroplane.
Yeah.
And you say it's a Gamma E?
Yeah.
As opposed to, ready for this, Chris? As opposed to Gamma A, Gamma. There we go. That's a.
Is that a gun position below the fuselage?
Say again.
Is that a gun position below the fuselage?
That little dustbin thing? Yeah, I
think so.
It actually doesn't look entirely unlike the PZL Karas, does it?
No, it's spatted undercarriage as well.
Yeah.
So,
It's
a cool looking airplane in that scheme as well.
Yeah.
My friend Mark Schneider built one of these from a Gamma from the Williams Brothers kit. And he built it as he found a picture of one on an airfield in Somalia being flown by I think the Army Corps of Engineers during World War II. So, really in bad shape. Olive drab, sloppily applied over gray with the round roundels on the wings. Looks just completely out of place, but it's still a really fascinating plane. Super versatile.
Right, we've gone from the prototype Spitfire being quite unarguably one of the most attractive aeroplanes ever to fly. The next can't be said of our next contender.
That's not an aeroplane, that's a tumour.
Now this is Rugrat Resins, and this is their 72nd scale Blackburn 2, an aeroplane so good they named it twice. Apparently 62 were built by the Blackburn Aeroplane Corporation of the Mark II anyway. Sorry, 62 Blackburns were built, of which around 29 were the Napier Lion 5 Blackburn 2.
Or the Blackburn 2.
Yeah, that's
God, I hope it had a good personality.
Yeah, did you just tell me that's got a Napier Lion in it?
Apparently so, yeah.
You know what else got a Napier Lion in it, don't you?
Hereford?
Gloucester 3, Gloucester 4, Supermarine S4, S5, and S6.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like what if you converted an E-34 helicopter into a
up until not S6, sorry, S5, S6, but S4 definitely, and the Gloucesters. So
this is apparently a 3D printed kit.
I just read Craig's comment.
That's why. Yes. Why did they build after seeing the first one? Very good.
They thought they could get it right eventually.
Do you know what? There is something.
If you take it from the leading edge of the wing back, it looks fine. It just looks like one of those pre-war biplanes. It's just what on earth happened forward of the wing.
The rear view looks kind of normal.
they clearly, there we go, 3D printed resin model aircraft.
I mean, I would use the expression, no, forget it.
No. Yeah.
I say that is nearly ugly enough to have been pre-war French.
Yes.
But only nearly.
Only nearly. But there we go. The Rugrat resins, Blackburn 2. There's an echo in the room. Right, we'll rumble on to
Blackburn, so ugly they named it twice.
Yes, exactly. From the ridiculous to the sublime, we're going back to Luke Graf again, and they are doing, oh my goodness me, right, I'm gonna have to right, sorry, I've got to go through the slides here. There we go. 30-second scale. Oh my goodness me.
Look, is that the Blackburn?
Is that not the most beautiful biplane ever to fly?
Just it's like they thought, let's make something that looks fast, and maybe it will be fast.
And indeed it was.
Right. Yeah.
And guess what? It worked.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
worked.
Let's break that top wing forward a long way and put a pointy nose at sucker. And
such a beautiful aeroplane.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And we're not just saying that because obviously we have very nostalgic memories of Matchbox PK1, but we do have nostalgic memories of Matchbox PK1. But there we go. So they're doing two versions. This is obviously going to be a 3D printed kit. They're doing two versions in 30-second scale. They're doing the RAF Mark 1. And when you see the detail on the CAD here, just mind-blowing. Pretty good stuff. And they're also doing the Spanish version. We'll come to the Spanish version again. Just looking at how they've done the design there, and they've incorporated the different textures. That's amazeballs, as they say these days. And then they're also doing the Spanish version, which you'll notice has a slightly cleaner undercarriage. Also has those grills on the fuselage, on the cowl. Also it has a different exhaust system as well.
Look, they took an incredibly sleek aircraft and made it sleeker.
They did.
And then they carried a lot of those design clues into the Fury 2 as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's where the Fury 2 comes from. It's like the Spanish one developed again.
But that looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it, gentlemen? That really
stunning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a thing of beauty.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Look at that. I would say, do you know what? I would say I think there is a justifiable case to say I think there's a market out there for a new Tool 1 in 70-second scale from a large manufacturer. But I'm bound to say that because I love the Hawker Fury. But there we go.
The whole family, every one of those Fury derived aircraft is beautiful. And they have really nice markings too. So
Mike Williams says, all these forthcoming Luke Graf models make me wish I had deeper pockets. Agent Dave Fleming says, strange that the Fury was so beautiful, but the armament was no better than the Camel.
Got a point.
I'm going to have to actively avoid going on Luke Graf's website because
I think we might.
I suspect that way madness lies.
Yeah, well, don't worry. I think we'll have the antidote to that towards the end. So we're just gonna rattle through some of the other bits of news tonight. Decals. So we've got these ones from Vingter, which is our friend Niels Mathethrud, and this is a set for anniversary F-16s. I did actually go online and look up that British Mark 1, and yeah, it is quite weird to see an F-16 in kind of what's supposed to be ocean grey and dark green with RAFC roundels on it, but yeah,
and the Romanian at the bottom.
Yeah. You
won't be building them with the Tamiya kit, will you?
No, you won't.
No, you won't. No. Who does the best two-seater F-16 in 70-second? They're doing these in 70-second and 48. Who does the best one in 70-second?
Probably a Revell kit, I would think.
Right. And there we go. There's a photograph of the actual aeroplane. And then from Dutch Deckel, oh my goodness me, look at this. This is like a Dutch model Deckel, this. A whole slew of subjects on this sheet, including F-35, F-16A, Reaper drone, and also C-130 Hercules. I'll say the Dutch, although they're still boring grey aeroplanes, I do like some of the schemes they're doing. Their F-35.
Interesting that a few of the Dutch ones are starting to turn up with the parachute container on the spine now as well.
Ah, right.
Parabrake container on the spine.
And there is the sheet as well. This being Dutch Deckel, you can pretty much, well, they're one of the few kind of Deckel companies who I would trust them sight unseen. Luke is such a, he's so kind of diligent with his research, and obviously he can draw a bit. So in fact, he's one of the pioneers of digital Deckel illustration. So gets my vote every time. I mean, just look at
C-130 Finn. That looks awesome.
Yeah, I just love the way he manages to shoehorn everything in there.
That's beautiful.
Yep. So there we go. That's Dutch Deckel, and gets rid of that. And then the last two news items for tonight. We are back to we got three more news items tonight, so we'll rattle through them. Mr. Plamo, they're doing a 3D printed Gypsy Major engine for the ICM Tiger Moth, which I know Mike Williams has built, but it's a beautiful kit. I think Tim Maunder bought me a copy of one as well, but this looks absolutely stunning. Mr. Plamo was the company that did those Stranraer bits that we featured a short while ago. So there's that. Then we are going back to, this is 16 quid, by the way, apparently. That's
a good price, isn't it?
It is a good price for for a 3D printed Gypsy Major engine in 30-second scale. Then we're going back to Look Graph, and like I say, we've had the beauty of the Hawker Fury. Then we've got this, the Avia BH33, aka the PWS-A.
It's no Hawker Fury, but in its defence, it's no Blackburn either.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. It has a functionality about it. I actually quite like it. I think it's well proportioned. And it's got a touch of the Siskin about it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I like it.
More Bulldog that knows, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a functional plane of its period. I bet it performed great compared to its peers, because Avia did pretty decent things. And
I like it.
And you got to appreciate the slab-sided fuselage construction. They can make them easily.
Yeah.
I seem to remember building a 70-second scale BH33. Was it a KP?
KP, yeah, would have been KP.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yep. And finally, he says in his best Alistair Stewart voice, of course, there was some mini art tonight. And this is one of their forthcoming sets, US Repairman. You get 4 figures in there, including one guy there. The guy on the left there, that's a familiar stance for me when I'm pumping up my bike tires. So there we go. You get a photo etched fret in there, and you get some decals as well. These are mostly items that come from other mini art sets, but nothing wrong with that. So there's some jerry cans and merry cans, I do believe. Oil drums. I think those are ammo crates or batteries or something there. It looks to be a winch of some kind. Oil drums. There we go. And they're the figures. Now, these figures, I don't think these are 3D scanned figures. They look to be standard kind of hand sculpts, although I think the faces, the heads may be 3D scanned. but they look effective enough. Certainly don't look kind of comic or cartoonish. And yeah, like most of these mini art sets, I'm in the market for one of these because they're not kits. They're things that become bits of kits. So a single figure then kind of applies itself to to a different project, doesn't it? So but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the great thing about these figures is they just by their existence they inspire people to do dioramas. They see one figure in a position and go like, oh wait a minute, that's the kind of story I've been thinking about, and then they can go from there.
Yep, exactly. So fabulous stuff from Mini Art. That's it for today's show. He says, trying to find the exit button. There we go. Oops, a daisy.
That is the exit button.
That is the exit button. There we go.
Mike Williams just asked a question, and funnily enough, I was going to ask the question.
Yeah. Are you not going to talk about?
Have you got the artwork?
Next week. Next week.
Because I saw that the other day and was like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
No, we are keeping that for next week. We need to have something. You've seen how we've overrun tonight with that. So no, we're keeping that for next time. Right, gentlemen. Any other business?
Goodness, no.
Not from me, no.
Not tonight, boy.
On that note, then, a big thank you to Chris, to Ian, to Drew. Big thank you to all of you for tuning in. God bless you, governors. God bless you. We'll be back, fingers crossed, next Sunday for a Sunday service, and we will be talking about that Typhoon artwork. Don't you worry. So until then, it behoves me to say thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.